Welcome to the quiet side of the universe, where whispers of science drift through the night like stardust over calm waters. Tonight, we begin a gentle journey through 100 facts about pattern recognition, the ancient, invisible craft our minds perform without a sound. Across billions of neurons and thousands of years, we have searched stars for constellations, followed ripples through data, and listened for meaning in the rhythm of rain. In the year 1950, Alan Turing first asked if machines could think, a question that would one day unfold into the elegant systems of learning that decode the world's patterns today. From the symmetry of leaves to the cadence of a heartbeat, patterns calmly guide our perception. If you enjoy these gentle science journeys, I invite you to like and subscribe, or share a favorite fact in the comments. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. For now, there's nothing you need to do but rest. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let's begin. Fact 1. Humans are natural pattern seekers, and this instinct begins astonishingly early. Studies show that by just 3 months old, infants start to recognize patterns in sound, like the rhythm of a lullaby or the pauses between syllables. This quiet, early learning lays the foundation for language, music, and memory. A gentle emergence of sense from the hum of the world. In this way, even the newborn mind begins to assemble a symphony of familiarity, stitched together from repetition and flow. Fact 2. In the soft geometry of snowflakes, pattern and physics meet in silent elegance. Every snowflake begins as a dust grain drifting in a cloud, where temperature and humidity sculpt its crystalline personality. Yet remarkably, all snowflakes follow the same basic, six-fold symmetry, a portrait of frozen mathematics drawn billions of times across winter skies. As they fall, unseen patterns in the air decide their branching, no two the same, yet all echoing a deeper harmony. The silent rules that shape nature's quiet sculptures. Fact 3. Beneath the ocean's surface, the swirling chaos of waves hides a secret language of patterns. Marine biologists have discovered that dolphins use repeating sequences of clicks and whistles to identify themselves, much like names. These signature sounds are not taught, but emerge naturally, each dolphin developing its own acoustic identity. The repetition helps individuals remember each other across long distances in the deep. In this watery world, communication floats on waves of rhythm and tone, tracing invisible threads of connection through the sea's quiet vastness. Fact 4. In 1835, the mathematician Joseph Fourier revealed that even the most complex waves can be broken down into simpler repeating patterns, sine and cosine functions weaving together like gentle strands of music. This discovery, now known as Fourier analysis, is the quiet heart of pattern recognition in sound, light, and signals. It allows scientists to filter starlight, compress digital music, and listen for patterns in brainwaves. By translating the world into frequencies and rhythms, Fourier gave us a key to unlock the invisible harmonies of nature. From the flicker of fireflies to the pulse of galaxies. Fact 5. The stars above do not simply twinkle by chance. Their light flickers with purpose, shaped by predictable cycles. Astronomers have long studied variable stars, celestial bodies whose brightness shifts in regular intervals. One of the most studied types, the Cepheid variables, pulse with clock-like regularity, expanding and contracting over precise days or weeks. First observed in the late 1700s, their rhythms revealed a wondrous truth. The timing of a Cepheid's glow corresponds directly to its distance from Earth. This silent beat, echoing across the cosmos, became a pattern so reliable that it helped measure the scale of the universe. What looks like a flicker is, in fact, a cosmic metronome, gently marking the spans between galaxies. Fact 6. Deep within the folds of the human brain, patterns of electrical activity form the rhythms of thought. Electroencephalograms, or EEGs, reveal that our minds generate waves of activity that change as we sleep, dream, and wake. Alpha waves, for example, hum softly through the brain when we are calm and restful, flickering at about 8 to 12 cycles per second. These waves are not noise, but structure, repeated signatures of peace and attention, echoing through the silence of rest. Neuroscientists now believe these brain patterns help organize memory and attention, a hidden choreography beneath the surface of awareness, dancing even as we drift into sleep. Fact 7. In the quiet rings of ancient trees, time writes its patterns in circles. Each year, a tree adds a new ring to its trunk, thick or thin, depending on the season's warmth, rain, and sunlight. Dendrochronologists, scientists who study these rings, can read deep histories hidden in wood, droughts, volcanic eruptions, even long-forgotten climate rhythms. Some bristlecone pines in California carry over 4,000 years of such memory within them. Silent books etched by time itself. Each ring is a measured echo of a season, a fingerprint of the Earth's slow breath, spiraling outward in gentle wooden whispers. Fact 8. Patterns appear not only in nature, but in the way we experience and understand music. Studies in music cognition have found that the brain can predict melodies based on prior exposure to familiar scales and rhythms. Even when a note never arrives, listeners often feel it, anticipating its place in the sequence, like a breath held in still air. This unconscious pattern matching allows us to recognize a tune after only a few notes, or feel tension when an expected note is changed. Music becomes a mirror for the brain's pattern-seeking instinct, a flowing fabric of sound where structure and surprise create beauty, gently tugging at memory and expectation alike. Fact 9. The stripes of a zebra might seem like random decoration, but they follow distinct and purposeful arrangements rooted in biological patterning. These black and white bands, unique to each individual, are formed through a process called reaction diffusion, a mathematical model described by Alan Turing in 1952. In this model, chemicals spread and react across an embryo's skin, creating stable, repeating structures. The result is a personal barcode of stripes that may help confuse predators or regulate body temperature. What appears as simple beauty is, in truth, a living manifestation of mathematical order painted across the animal kingdom's canvas. Fact 10. Lightning may last only moments in the sky, but the paths it travels often repeat in fractal patterns. These branching electrical trails mirror the same geometry seen in tree limbs, river systems, and blood vessels. Called Lichtenberg figures, these marks reveal how energy naturally seeks efficient paths through space, dividing and subdividing in recursive harmony. Fractals like these are not only visually mesmerizing, but also mathematically elegant, where zooming in reveals versions of the whole repeating endlessly. In the wild dance of a lightning strike, we glimpse nature's instinct for repetition and order, written in light across the sky's canvas. Fact 11. Hidden in the coat of a leopard lies a familiar mystery. The rosette-shaped spots that swirl across its fur are not just decoration, but data in disguise. These natural patterns emerge from the same cellular processes that design seashell spirals and fish stripes, governed by subtle chemical gradients and genetic timing. Each leopard's pattern is unique, like a shadowy fingerprint cast on golden fur, blending camouflage with identity. Researchers have modeled these patterns using reaction-diffusion equations, similar to a flowing ink across the canvas of the animal's skin. In the quiet of the jungle, these rosettes ripple like echoes of ancient algorithms, hinting at a shared code between biology and mathematics, etched softly into the wild. Fact 12. In the whispers of language, patterns orchestrate meaning like constellations of sound and shape. Linguists have found that the world's approximately 7,000 languages share recognizable underlying structures, from recurring word orders to rhythmic stress rules. Even without understanding a tongue, listeners often intuit emotional cues based on tone, pace, and repetition. This intricate web of phonetic patterns helps the brain predict and decode meaning subconsciously. Through syllabic rhythms and familiar inflections, speech becomes not just sound, but structure. A soft architecture of understanding built from invisible scaffolds. Across cultures and continents, language resonates with the universal pulse of pattern, guiding communication like the steady toll of a distant bell in the fog. Fact 13. In the orchestrated buzz of a beehive, patterns arise not only in movement, but in time itself. Honeybees perform waggle dances, meandering figure-8 motions, to share information about food locations. The angle of the dance relative to the sun, and the length of each waggle, run, maps direction and distance. What's more, researchers have discovered that the tempo of these dances shifts subtly with the seasons and light levels, creating a calendar encoded in rhythm. Within this golden hum, a shared clock ticks quietly among thousands of wings, turning motion into message. Just as stars use pulses to signal their distance, bees use patterned dances to shrink the spaces between their world and ours. Small choreographies, nectar's path under the warmth of sun. Fact 14. The human heartbeat, though steady, sings a song of variation that reveals hidden patterns beneath its rhythm. Known as heart rate variability, these subtle changes in the intervals between beats reflect shifts in our emotional state, health, and even thoughts. A calm, relaxed body often shows rich variability, while stress smooths the rhythm into mechanical sequence. Ophthalmologists have discovered similar subtle shifts in blink rates and respiration, all patterned windows into mood and mind. These biological fluctuations move like tides within us, gently whispering the state of our inner world. It is in their irregular regularity that we glimpse a deeper harmony, a quiet fingerprint of life, playing out in pulses and pauses. Fact 15. Crystals, with their silent, glimmering faces, are among the purest examples of order forming from chaos. At the molecular level, atoms arrange themselves into precise, repeating grids, a phenomenon known as crystallography. Whether it is the pale shimmer of quartz or the deep blue of sapphire, each crystal reveals a unique internal symmetry, tracing the path of time and temperature over countless ages. Snowflakes, salts, and even some metals build their identities from these invisible lattices, following laws of geometry in complete stillness. These structures grow not in haste, but with patient precision, whispering the same order again and again through every facet and plane. In each wedge of a gemstone, in each frozen trace on a window pane, we see matter remembering its most balanced shape. The mathematics of rest made solid and beautiful. Fact 16. In the silent logic of bird migration, ancient sky maps unfold through instinct and repeated memory. Many species, such as the Arctic tern, travel over 40,000 miles each year, a journey stitched together by cues in light, magnetic fields, and celestial alignments. Researchers have found that birds use the angle of the sun and polarized light patterns in the sky as navigational tools, even on cloudy days. These layered signals form a kind of aerial rhythm, guiding wings across continents and oceans. The exact timing of departure, the choice of resting points, the return each season, all echo a choreography millions of years old. It is a migration not just of bodies, but of maps hidden in feathers, where pattern becomes direction, and the sky becomes memory traced in motion. Fact 17. On the wings of butterflies, colors shimmer in mesmerizing arrays, not because of pigments alone, but due to microscale structures that manipulate light. This phenomenon, called structural coloration, relies on repeating nanoscopic patterns, tiny ridges and layers that interfere with light waves, amplifying certain wavelengths while canceling others. The result is an iridescent glow that can shift hue as the angle of view changes, like morning dew refracting sunlight. These delicate structures have inspired engineers designing anti-counterfeiting technology and ultra-thin displays. In the stillness of a butterfly's wing lies a lesson in how form, at the smallest scale, can birth color, not from dye, but from order and rhythm, turning invisibly small echoes into radiant flashes of life. Fact 18. Numbers themselves carry patterns that whisper quietly through history. The Fibonacci sequence, a series of numbers where each new value is the sum of the two before it, begins simply 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, yet unfolds infinitely with surprising elegance. Found in the arrangement of sunflower seeds, the spirals of galaxies, and the growth of pine cones, these numbers drift through nature like a hidden song. Named after the 13th century Italian mathematician Leonardo of Pisa, also called Fibonacci, the sequence offers a bridge between mathematics and the living world. As these numbers echo in the veins of a leaf or the curve of a woman's arm in ancient sculpture, they become a gentle reminder that the universe often counts in whispers, wrapping simplicity into the shape of beauty. Fact 19. In rolling hills of sand and shifting dunes, the wind draws invisible equations across vast deserts. These patterns, ripples, waves, and scalloped forms arise from the interplay of air, gravity, and grains in motion. Though molded by randomness, the resulting formations exhibit astonishing regularity, often repeating at measured intervals determined by wind strength and sand size. Geologists studying dune migration have found that over years, even centuries, these patterns stay consistent, creeping slowly across landscapes like a tide measured in decades. With each gust, nature draws a textured memory onto the earth, a patient story told in curves and lines. In these silent carvings, we glimpse how chaos becomes rhythm, how weather becomes design. Fact 20. In the branching forms of broccoli and ferns, fractal geometry blossoms in edible and leafy spirals. Romanesco broccoli, in particular, stuns not just with its vivid green cones, but with its surprisingly mathematical architecture, each bud made of smaller versions of itself, repeating across scales like echoes receding into stillness. Scientists describe these spirals using self-similarity, a fundamental trait of fractals, where patterns are nested inside themselves in perfect miniature. It's a plant that grows in rhythm, not only in space but in harmony with mathematical law. Within each swirl and curve, nature draws a quiet formula in flesh and leaf, offering a reminder that even what we eat carries the signature of pattern. A silent harmony between biology and number served on our plates. Fact 21. The rhythmic ticking of atomic clocks, regarded as the most precise timekeeping devices on Earth, is rooted in the hidden patterns of atoms themselves. Atoms of cesium-133, when excited by microwave radiation, oscillate at exactly 9,192,31,570 times per second, a number so exact it defines the international standard for the second. This oscillation creates a clock not based on gears or gravity, but on the unwavering repetition of quantum motion. Even the Earth's rotation, once our measure of time, is far less consistent than these atomic pulses. Within the predictable dance of electrons, the universe marks time with unfathomable precision, quietly counting the seconds beneath our everyday lives. A celestial metronome, ticking gently in the background of all we do. Fact 22. The gentle spirals found in seashells, such as the nautilus, are formed through logarithmic growth, a mathematical pattern where each new chamber mirrors the last, expanding proportionally with time. This growth ensures balance, allowing the shell to grow without changing shape, spiraling outward in a consistent arc that echoes through marine evolution. Long before mathematics had a name, these creatures traced algebra in calcium and tide, their coiled homes speaking softly of orderly expansion. To gaze upon such a shell is to see centuries of quiet arithmetic etched into stone, a formula curved by the sea's patient hand. It is a silent spiral, both home and history, winding back into the heart of life beneath the waves. Fact 23. In the woven cloth of human culture, traditional weaving patterns hold stories passed down over centuries. Across continents, from the ikat of Indonesia to the tartans of Scotland and the kente of West Africa, repeating motifs and colors signal heritage, geography, and identity. Though made by hand, these patterns often follow precise mathematical rhythms, counting threads, balancing symmetry, maintaining rhythm row by row. Anthropologists have found that some of the earliest textile fragments, dating back over 6,000 years, already show deliberate repetition and encoded symbolism. These fabric languages, quiet and tactile, whisper connections between ancestors and descendants, threading memory and meaning into each dyed fiber. In every loom's motion, there is a cadence, a soft echo of human thought traced in warp and weft. Fact 24. In the flickering neurons of artificial intelligence, pattern recognition becomes not just a human trait, but a mirrored skill taught to machines. Neural networks, computational systems inspired by the human brain, learn patterns through layers of adjustment, rewarding closeness to expected outcomes and refining with each iteration. When shown millions of faces, sounds, or pieces of text, the system begins to discern consistency, highlighting features too subtle for the naked eye. These digital minds now recognize handwriting, translate languages, and even generate art, echoing the ancient pattern-seeking nature of their creators. But within their silence lies a flipped mystery as we begin to study our own cognition through the lens of what we've taught the machine. A reflection of the observer encoded inside the observed, cool and methodical, yet blooming with soft echoes of curiosity. Fact 25. The flow of traffic on busy highways reveals emergent patterns that mirror natural phenomena like fluid dynamics and particle motion. Engineers have observed that when cars move at similar speeds and maintain consistent spacing, they form spontaneous waves of motion, clusters that behave like ripples on a river. These formations, known as traffic shock waves, can even travel backward through lanes, independent of the individual driver's intentions. Researchers use mathematical models inspired by cellular automata and physics to simulate and predict these rhythms, discovering that small changes, like a single driver slowing slightly, can create wide reverberations miles away. Thus, the morning commute becomes an invisible choreography. Every vehicle, a note in a larger composition of motion and pause, where human behavior and physical law entwine quietly in asphalt ballet. Fact 26. In the soft unfolding of petals, flowers often reveal a hidden arithmetic, the golden angle. This angle, approximately 137.5 degrees, governs the arrangement of leaves, seeds, and florets in many plants, creating spirals that are both visually pleasing and mathematically efficient. Sunflowers, for instance, display hundreds of seeds in interlocking spirals that follow Fibonacci numbers, maximizing space and sunlight. Botanists refer to this phenomenon as phyllotaxis, a silent choreography where each new petal or leaf emerges at a calculated turn from the last. The result is not only beauty, but balance, the quiet logic of nature's efficiency whispered through blossoms, offering harmony as geometry in bloom. Fact 27. In the cadence of cicadas, time itself resonates in curious cycles. Some species, like the periodical cicadas of North America, emerge from the Earth in intervals of 13 or 17 years, both prime numbers, chosen not by design, but evolution's quiet arithmetic. Scientists believe this timing helps cicadas avoid synchronizing with predator cycles, maximizing survival through mathematical rarity. When they rise, millions pulse together in a wave of sound, each male's tremolo forming a chorus of seeking. The result is a forest filled with rhythm, not random, but echoing equations of survival, sound, and time. Within this insect orchestra, pattern becomes persistence, and emergence becomes a clock carved in roots and soil. Fact 28. In prehistoric cave art, the repetition of handprints, symbols, and animal motifs tells a rhythmic story across thousands of years. Found in places like Chauvet Cave in France or the Cueva de las Manos in Argentina, these markings are not random. They often appear in clusters, sequences, and mirrored arrangements that suggest memory or ritual. Some archaeologists believe these patterns could represent lunar cycles, seasonal migrations, or even early counting systems. Created around 30,000 years ago, with pigment and breath, each print becomes both a signature and a signal, a patterned echo from the deep past. In these ancient murals, illuminated by flickering torchlight, humanity's early need to repeat, record, and make meaning through form whispers, softly across stone and time. Fact 29. In the quiet pulses of weather systems, patterns arise in the form of pressure waves and jet streams that circle the globe. Meteorologists have long observed how the atmosphere organizes itself into recognizable flows, like the Rossby waves that snake across continents, guiding storms and high-pressure zones. These vast air currents shift with the seasons, responding to Earth's rotation, temperature differences, and oceanic whispers below. Satellite imagery reveals swirling spirals and repeating vortices, some spanning thousands of miles, moving in graceful arcs that remind one of Van Gogh's painted skies. Even chaos, it seems, dances to a rhythm, drawing invisible threads around the planet where air and water mirror one another in a global pattern that shapes our climate, our clouds, and the pause between raindrops on a quiet night. Fact 30. The gentle stirrings of the human stomach follow a wave-like rhythm known as the migrating motor complex, a pattern of electrical pulses that sweep through the digestive tract when it is empty. These waves occur roughly every 90 to 120 minutes, quietly cleaning the digestive system between meals like a tide resetting the shoreline. Gastroenterologists often refer to this as the gut's internal metronome, an orchestrated motion that sustains balance without conscious thought. Even in rest, the body hums with these autonomic patterns, soft reminders of life's continuity ticking quietly inside. It is through such small, consistent waves that the body restores itself, echoing nature's broader truth. That health, too, is shaped by rhythm, by the unseen patterns that gently hold us in motion. Fact 31. In the quiet cycling of the moon's phases, a reliable pattern emerges that has guided humans for millennia. The lunar cycle, lasting approximately 29.5 days from one new moon to the next, shapes tides, calendars, agricultural rhythms, and myths, old as stories themselves. Across ancient civilizations, from Egypt to Mesoamerica, people watched the moon wax and wane, marking time and meaning in its steady return. Modern astronomers understand this cycle as a dance of shadows, the interplay between Earth, Moon, and Sun, but its impact reaches deeper, stirring behaviors in animals, flowers, and perhaps even sleep. In a sky governed by the soft pulse of moonlight, we witness a celestial heartbeat, a recurring shape in the darkness that connects past, present, and night itself in luminous silence. Fact 32. Beneath the surface of financial markets, patterns unfold in waves of prices, rises, and falls that entice analysts with their elusive rhythms. One such structure is the Elliott wave theory, proposed in the 1930s by Ralph Nelson Elliott, who observed that market movements often follow 5 upward and 3 downward phases in repeated loops. Though debated, this theory reflects a broader truth, that human behavior, collective mood, and decision-making often gravitate toward repeating cycles. Candlestick charts, too, reveal fractal patterns, where zooming in shows similar structures at different timescales. In this terrain of numbers and nerves, traders search for meaning amidst volatility, probing for order in chaos. The flow of capital becomes a mirror of mass psychology, and through speculation and strategy, we glimpse the patterns born of hope, fear, and time. Fact 33. The silent comings and goings of tides follow a rhythm inscribed by the gravity of the moon and the sun. Known as tidal patterns, these twice-daily rises and retreats of the sea are shaped by celestial mechanics that pull gently at Earth's oceans. Each coastline carries its own tidal character, some rising by just a few centimeters, others by several meters, like the Bay of Fundy in Canada, where tides climb up to 16 meters high. These great breaths of the sea repeat with lunar precision, aligning with new and full moons for heightened spring tides and waning with neaps. Sailors, shellfish, and shoreline plants all live by this timing, following a rhythm etched in salt and starlight. In the hush between waves, we are reminded that even the oceans bow to a pattern older than memory, heeding a cosmic signal felt deep within the blue. Fact 34. The fluttering rhythms in the flight of starlings, known as murmurations, unveil one of nature's most mesmerizing collective patterns. As dusk falls, thousands of birds move as one, swooping and swirling in a seamless ballet across the sky. Scientists studying this phenomenon have found that each starling aligns its flight with about 7 neighbors, reacting within split seconds to tiny shifts, creating a cascade of harmony that travels through the flock like a ripple on water. These aerial patterns are not led by a single bird, but emerge from local connections, a spontaneous choreography born from simple rules and immediate awareness. Against a twilight horizon, the murmuration becomes a living wave, a visual symphony of instinct and order, echoing the deep truth that beauty often arises not from control, but from the quiet coordination of many, following a shared rhythm. Fact 35. Beneath the crust of our planet, seismic waves trace patterns that map its unseen interior. When an earthquake occurs, it sends out vibrations that ripple through the earth, some moving in compressional pulses, others in sinuous side-to-side motions. Seismologists analyze the timing and shape of these waves to infer the composition and depth of underground layers. Remarkably, these patterns have revealed not only the solid core and the molten mantle, but also subtle anomalies, like slow-slip zones that creep instead of crack. Just as bats echolocate with sound, humanity has learned to listen to the earth itself, hearing in its quake-born signals a deeper cadence of continents drifting and tensions shifting far below our feet. In these subterranean echoes, we find the planet whispering its shape and motion through rhythmic tremors and unfolding silence. Fact 36. In the delicate imprint of fingerprints, the human body preserves a pattern both intimate and infinite. Though formed in the womb by swirling pressure and growth dynamics in the skin, no two fingerprints are alike, not even for identical twins. These whirls and loops follow 3 primary motifs: arches, loops, and whirls. Yet the finer details defy replication, etched as they are by chance vibrations and minute movements before birth. Forensic scientists have used these patterns for identification since the late 1800s, turning human uniqueness into a quiet signature that endures through time. Like tree rings or snowflakes, fingerprints capture both order and randomness in a design that is completely one's own. A silent map held in the fold of every hand, whispering identity through every gentle touch. Fact 37. In the structures of music composed centuries ago, mathematicians and musicians alike discover layers of repeating elegance. The works of Johann Sebastian Bach, for instance, are celebrated not only for their beauty, but for their mathematical symmetry, fugues and canons that loop, invert, and mirror themes with quiet precision. In some compositions, melodies can be played forward, backward, or even upside down, forming a lattice of sound as intricate as a crystalline structure. Musicologists refer to these patterns as counterpoint, a method where independent lines of music reflect and respond to one another like intertwined vines. As each motif reappears and transforms, listeners are gently led through a garden of logic, blooming into emotion. A sound world where pattern becomes poetry, where repetition becomes revelation, and centuries slip away beneath the balm of melody, repeating like breath itself. Fact 38. The spiral arms of galaxies stretch across the cosmos like frozen waves, shaped by gravity's slow and persistent pull. These spirals are not static, but rather density waves, areas where stars cluster more tightly, rotating through space like a massive ripple, frozen in motion. One famous example, the Whirlpool Galaxy, lies 23 million light-years away, displaying perfect arms that wind with fractal grace. Astronomers believe these patterns guide star formation, compressing clouds of gas into brilliant new suns as they pass through. In the grand sweep of interstellar time, such galactic spirals happen slowly, taking hundreds of millions of years to complete a single turn. Yet, from our distant viewpoint, they appear timeless, a majestic swirl of symmetry stitched across the deep. These cosmic spirals echo the Fibonacci sequence and golden ratios found in seashells and storms, reminding us that the same patterns wind through the universe at every scale, from galaxies to grains of sand. Fact 39. In the ancient rhythm of rainfall, hidden statistical patterns shape the dance of droplets across time and space. Meteorologists have discovered that rain often follows a fractal distribution, meaning the same clustered patterns appear, whether you look at a minute, an hour, or a day of precipitation. This phenomenon, known as self-similarity, allows scientists to model rainfall across scales, aiding predictions for crops, flood control, and climate studies. Each storm writes a different melody, yet within the chaos, a quiet cadence emerges. The buildup, the crescendo, the hush. Just as composers structure notes into song, Earth arranges clouds into stories, each raindrop a syllable in the poem of weather, tapping softly on the windows of sleep. Fact 40. Hidden in the humble folds of brain coral, nature sketches a riddle of labyrinths shaped by time and tide. These slow-growing wonders of the reef form intricate grooves that resemble the delicate folds of a human brain, a resemblance not just visual, but patterned through a logic of space efficiency and structural strength. Coral polyps deposit calcium carbonate in looping formations that respond to light and current, creating patterns that maximize surface area for feeding while withstanding pressure from the ocean's movements. Some of the oldest brain corals span centuries, their lines tracing not only growth, but environmental memory. Marine biologists have studied these ridges for clues about past climate shifts embedded in their formation. In each labyrinth of limestone, the sea pens a quiet logbook filled with soft curves and mineral echoes, whispering of light, motion, and ancient underwater rhythms etched in coral script. Fact 41. In flocks of sheep moving across open fields, researchers have observed a remarkable and consistent behavior: spontaneous synchronization. Without a leader or signal, the animals often begin to graze, walk, or rest in unified waves, forming collective movements that ripple through their group. Ethologists studying this phenomenon suggest that simple local rules like maintaining distance and matching pace, give rise to these patterned sways, a biological version of crowd physics. Similar behaviors appear in herds of wildebeest and schools of fish, where individuals seem to operate as part of a larger organism. These natural choreographies offer a quiet lesson in connection, how harmony can arise, not from command, but from subtle observation, shared rhythm, and the instinctive echo of one's neighbors, all whispering movement across open landscapes. Fact 42. The delicate veining in a single leaf reveals a pattern as organized as any circuit board, quietly optimizing life. These networks of veins, known as venation patterns, distribute water and nutrients efficiently while reinforcing the leaf structure. Botanists have classified them into types: parallel, palmate, and reticulate, each serving the specific needs of different plant species. Some leaves, like those of the lotus, display near-perfect symmetry, where branching veins mirror each other on either side of a central spine. Studies show that these patterns respond over time to light, gravity, and even damage, adapting dynamically to help the plant survive. In each unfolding leaf, nature draws a plan, a quiet blueprint written in green, fluid, and light, reminding us that beneath the soft silence of growth, ancient patterns of resilience flourish. Fact 43. In the hum of urban design, city planners often rely on pattern recognition to map human movement. By analyzing pedestrian flows and traffic data, algorithms reveal repeated paths of travel, desire lines that show where people naturally prefer to walk, and if no official sidewalk exists. These insights shape modern cities, influencing the placement of crossings, benches, and lighting. In ancient towns like Kyoto or Rome, similar patterns emerged organically along trade routes and temple paths, now etched in stone streets and alleyways. Whether guided by feet or formulas, the layout of a city becomes a slow echo of collective behavior, a map not just of buildings and roads, but of memory, motion, and the rhythms of daily life, repeating quietly through the maze of civilization. Fact 44. The quiet swirl of cream in a cup of coffee may seem random, yet it unveils a familiar phenomenon studied in fluid dynamics known as laminar flow. When liquids of different densities or temperatures meet, they create graceful spirals that unwind slowly, form a temporary but predictable patterns. Physicists have modeled this process to understand weather systems, ocean currents, and even planetary atmospheres. These coffee time vortices, though fleeting, echo the same equations found in galaxies and whirlpools. In their ephemeral dance, we glimpse how motion curves into art, how disorder bends gently toward shape. Even in a morning ritual, the universe brushes its quiet signature through steam and stir, offering a soft and swirling reminder that patterns live in even the simplest moments. Fact 45. In the crystalline songs of glaciers, slow motion leaves etched sonic patterns across frozen landscapes. As these colossal rivers of ice creep downhill, they produce groans, pops, and tremors that geophysicists translate into seismic signatures, the low murmurs of a planet rearranging itself. Known as glacial quakes, these sounds follow seasonal and structural trends, repeating in cycles that help scientists understand how ice responds to climate and time. Within Greenland and Antarctica, rows of sensors listen for these subtle rhythms, recording nature's slowest music, tones that last minutes, rising from movements so gradual they escape the eye. Each fracture and slide becomes part of an icy symphony, a pattern of melt and pressure that hums beneath the silence of snow. It is a cadence of change, ancient and still unfolding, marking time, not in seconds, but in centuries of drift and frozen breath. Fact 46. In the breathless stillness of desert nights, patterns emerge not only in sand, but in the silent tracking of stars. For millennia, nomadic peoples used fixed constellations like Orion and the North Star as navigational anchors, aligning their journeys with celestial mechanics. These wandering routes, passed through generations, mirrored the sky's own seasonal choreography, each rise and setting of a star marking time, place, and orientation. Anthropologists have mapped these oral sky maps onto modern star charts, revealing an exquisite synchrony between memory, motion, and astronomy. The desert's vast openness becomes a canvas for celestial storytelling, where footsteps trace arched echoes of constellations above. In this way, patterns in the heavens turn into patterns on the earth, guiding movement across silence by the mirrored rhythm of starlight and sand. Fact 47. In the delicate algorithms of bird songs, patterns of phrase and repetition shape each melody like an airborne fingerprint. Ornithologists have studied species such as the nightingale and white-throated sparrow, discovering that their songs follow structured sequences, including recurring motifs and variations with subtle improvisations. These musical patterns help birds identify mates, declare territory, and maintain flock cohesion. Some birds, like the lyrebird, even mimic the sounds of other species and mechanical noises, layering echoes into complex audio collages. When a bird sings at dawn, its voice rides atop a learned map of rhythm and pitch, a lived blueprint of sound and survival. Deep in a forest's hush, the air twitches with avian syllables, not random notes, but messages folded into refrains, handing song from tree to tree in a rehearsal older than language. Fact 48. In the quiet architecture of spiderwebs, nature spins radial poetry with mathematical grace. Spiders weave these silky traps using innate algorithms, laying out anchor threads first, followed by spirals of sticky silk in precise succession. Studies have shown that even after damage, spiders reconstruct webs by following the same internal rules, rebuilding patterns with rhythmic consistency. The angles between threads, the spacing of spirals, the placement of the hub, all reflect an internal compass wired for symmetry and function. Radar imaging and ultraviolet photography reveal how these designs scatter light, making some webs nearly invisible to prey while visible to mates. What at first appears delicate is in truth fiercely intentional. A tensioned rhythm caught midair, soft geometry suspended between branches, repeating anew each dawn as the spider rises to weave its silent algorithm once more. Fact 49. In the pulse of global internet traffic, invisible patterns trace the heartbeat of the digital world. At peak hours, data follows predictable surges, rising during mid-morning work hours, dipping slightly at lunch, then peaking again in the evening as millions stream, scroll, and connect. Network engineers analyze these rhythms to optimize bandwidth, detect anomalies, and anticipate future usage. Remarkably, these traffic patterns resemble biological rhythms, with circadian cycles mirrored in digital form. Machine learning models drawing from these flows recognize recurring behaviors and adjust systems in real time. Behind every tap, send, and click lies a cascade of patterned signals rippling through cables and satellites in a silent global choreography. In this ceaseless electronic hum, we have woven a new layer of rhythm, a digital dusk and dawn, where code and cognition intertwine across glowing screens and midnight servers. Fact 50. In the branching tunnels of ant colonies, scientists have uncovered complex systems of layout and design that mirror efficient transportation networks. Each tunnel, length, turn, and chamber serves a distinct purpose, constructed without central planning, yet showing remarkable regularity. Using techniques such as X-ray imaging and 3D scanning, researchers have observed repeating path patterns that balance resource use and airflow, shaped by simple behaviors among thousands of individuals. These self-organizing structures emerge from the tiny decisions of ants guided by pheromone trails and environmental feedback, resulting in architectures that adapt and rebuild over time. Beneath soil and stone, these secret cities hum with intention, a quiet testimony to how order can arise from collaboration, instinct, and repetition, a pattern drawn not in blueprints, but in earth and teamwork, one grain at a time. Fact 51. The ancient art of origami transforms plain paper into intricate forms through a sequence of deliberate folds, geometry guided by memory and hand. Mathematicians studying origami have found that complex crease patterns can be modeled through algorithms, enabling the creation of structures, from insects with fluttering wings to compact satellite panels that unfurl in space. In Japan, the traditional crane follows a time-honored recipe of steps, each one layering meaning and symmetry. In modern science, these same patterned principles help design medical stents and foldable electronics. What starts as a flat surface blossoms into shape through bent lines and quiet sequences, a meditation in motion revealing how simplicity, when folded with care, can open into unexpected complexity. The paper remembers each fold, each motion a soft calligraphy of structure written with nothing but space and intent. Fact 52. In the sway of pendulums, time finds its rhythm expressed in arcs and seconds. Galileo Galilei, observing a swinging lamp in a cathedral in 1583, noticed that its swing time remained constant regardless of arc, a discovery that became the principle of isochronism. This elegant regularity underpins pendulum clocks, which for centuries marked time with unmatched precision, their mechanical hearts swinging with soft certainty. Even today, Foucault pendulums installed in museums chart the Earth's rotation through slow-motion spirals drawn across sand. These silent sentinels of time turn movement into measure, a gentle rocking that counts the moments in measured breath. They are reminders that in each back and forth, in each silent pause at the apex, pattern becomes presence, a quiet witness to time's unfolding path, etched in swing and stillness alike. Fact 53. Deep within the language of mathematics lies a visual counterpart called cellular automata, grids of squares that evolve by simple rules, generating complex, often beautiful patterns. One of the most famous, known as Conway's Game of Life, was first introduced in 1970 and demonstrates how lifelike behavior can emerge from binary beginnings. A cell lives or dies depending on the number of neighbors it has, and through generations, the grid breathes, forming gliders, oscillators, and stillness, all from a handful of original dots. These automata have inspired theories in physics, computer science, and biology, offering glimpses of how small rules can knit vast, intricate tapestries of behavior. Watching them unfold is like peering into a miniature cosmos, where from digital simplicity rises the soft illusion of living complexity, echoing patterns that stretch from code to cosmos to consciousness. Fact 54. In the gentle unfolding of fern leaves, called circinate vernation, lies a natural memory of mathematical sequence and biological rhythm. As young fronds unroll from spiraled coils, they trace a Fibonacci-like curve, each new leaf expanding from the heart of the curl in measured steps. Time-lapse photography reveals this motion as a slow, graceful uncurling, a botanical ballet choreographed by genetic instructions and cellular pressure. The spiral protects the leaf's delicate tip during early growth, while also distributing space efficiently for unfolding. Botanists have found parallels between these curves and logarithmic spirals seen in galaxies, shells, and hurricanes. Here, in the quiet rise of green beneath forest canopies, nature repeats this soft pattern, echoing the geometry of movement in a whisper that begins at the center and flows gently outward, a green scroll inscribed by light and time. Fact 55. The shifting auroras that ripple across polar skies are more than painted light. They are magnetic patterns made visible, caused by charged particles from the sun colliding with Earth's magnetosphere. These glowing curtains of green, pink, and violet trace the lines of our planet's invisible magnetic field. The patterns form in ovals around the poles, dancing with intensity that ebbs and flows based on the sun's activity. Scientists use models to predict these auroral shapes, which often repeat in cycles tied to the sun's 11-year solar rhythm. To watch an aurora unfold is to see geometry in motion, guided not by wind or wave, but by magnetism, plasma, and light. In their shifting arcs, the sky seems to breathe, each flicker a magnetic heartbeat, echoing a pattern from deep within the cosmos, down into the sleeping earth below. Fact 56. In the branching roots beneath our feet, mycelial networks form hidden webs of communication, often called the wood wide web. These fungal filaments connect trees and plants underground, transmitting chemical signals and nutrients across vast forest floors. Scientists have found that through these mycorrhizal patterns, older trees can nourish seedlings, and plants can warn one another of drought or pest attack. This quiet exchange follows distinct pathways shaped by species, age, and soil health, creating an ecological intelligence rooted in repetition and structure. Just as neurons form networks of thought, these fungal lines weave knowledge through the earth, unseen but essential. Within the still dirt, a slow dialogue continues, an ancient symphony of roots and thread, speaking the language of life through pattern and interconnected calm. Fact 57. Within the frozen symmetry of honeycomb, bees construct a structure as elegant as it is efficient. Each cell, a perfect hexagon, reflects the optimal way to divide space with minimal material, a truth proven through centuries of mathematical inquiry. Known as the honeycomb conjecture, this pattern uses less wax than other shapes while storing the most honey. Bees build in darkness by touch and instinct, layering walls of gold with astonishing uniformity. Engineers studying these formations have mimicked them in spacecraft panels and lightweight architecture, Yet beyond function lies a deeper order, a rhythm held by tiny wings in warm hives, whispered in wax and sweetness. Through each repeated chamber, nature records its logic in syrupy stillness, a lullaby of geometry humming quietly between flower and hive. Fact 58. The pattern of ripples formed when a pebble falls into still water is more than a momentary flourish. It is a lesson in waves and symmetry. Each ring expands outward in perfect circles, the concentric echoes of initial impact traveling across the water's surface. Physicists describe this as surface wave propagation, where energy moves through the medium in consistent, measurable intervals. If obstacles are placed at different distances, the ripples interact, overlapping, amplifying, or canceling one another in gentle interference. This interplay mirrors the principles behind sound, light, and even quantum particles. In quiet ponds and reflecting pools, this dance of water lines ripples toward the edge like softly fading music. A single drop becomes a composer, and stillness becomes a stage, offering a final whisper that from one small touch, an entire world of motion and form can rise, then slowly fade back into silence. Fact 59. In the delicate contours of sand dunes shaped by wind, researchers have discovered silent interactions guided by recurring patterns of geometry and scale. These crescent-shaped Barchan dunes, common in deserts like the Sahara, form when steady winds sculpt isolated hills of sand into uniform curves, each migrating slowly across the landscape. Their motion, measured over months and years, leaves behind trails like footprints of the air itself. Scientists modeled these shapes using fluid dynamics, noting how smaller dunes can merge, split, or circle around larger ones in long dances of granular motion. Viewed from above, a desert becomes a living tapestry, waves of golden earth bending in accordance with invisible breath. Each dune whispers of time, endurance, and repetition, a patience sculpted in sun and silence, echoing nature's affinity for patterned evolution across the vastness of arid sleep. Fact 60. In the patterns of sleep itself, the human brain cycles through stages with a rhythm both ancient and essential. Each night, we journey through light sleep, deep sleep, and REM, a repeating cycle lasting about 90 minutes, echoing like tides across the dark hours. During REM, the mind dreams vividly, neural activity resembling that of waking life while muscles remain still, as if the body pauses to listen. Neuroscientists have charted these sleep cycles like waves, revealing how memory consolidates and emotions are soothed in their quiet progression. The pattern continues regardless of time zones or seasons, a choreography written into biology. As eyelids flutter and breath deepens, we drift further into this nightly spiral, where the brain dances its slow duet of repair and reverie, a gentle cradle song composed in pulses and peace, softening the boundary between thought and slumber. Fact 61. In the ancient geometry of crop circles, mystery and mathematical pattern entwine in quiet fields. Though many modern formations are man-made, some early circles reported in 17th century folklore described perfectly symmetrical rings appearing overnight in wheat and barley, sparking wonder and speculation. Today, intricate designs sometimes span hundreds of feet, spirals, fractals, and even binary-coded images etched into farmland. Researchers and artists alike have recreated these shapes using ropes, boards and precise measurements, revealing the delicate math beneath the morning dew. Regardless of origin, the fascination lies in their sudden presence, the contrast between natural canvas and geometric design. Beneath moonlight and mist, these soft impressions seem to hum with intention, urging the sleepy eye to trace their curves and angles, wondering what quiet hand, human or unseen, sketched such vast and fluid whispers across the Earth's green skin. Fact 62. The rhythm of blinking, often taken for granted, follows patterns finely tuned to attention and emotion. On average, humans blink about 15 to 20 times per minute, but this rate adjusts as we read, speak, or daydream. Neurologists observing eye behavior have found that people blink less when they focus intently and more when transitioning between thoughts, like punctuation in the narrative of the mind. These blinks also help reset visual processing, acting as subtle moments of brain rest within an otherwise continuous stream of perception. Patterns even emerge across cultures and ages, revealing a shared physiological tempo shaped by context and mood. In each gentle closure of the eyelid, a pause is written in invisible breath, sheltered in silence. It is the pattern of presence, rising and falling, like a soft tide at the edge of awareness. Fact 63. In the spiraling double helix of DNA, the very code of life reveals itself through repeating sequences of base pairs, adenine with thymine, cytosine with guanine, pairing over and over like notes in an ancient biological refrain. These molecular patterns define who we are, encoding billions of genetic instructions with a precision that stretches back through generations, connecting all living organisms in a shared script. Geneticists have discovered that certain segments, called tandem repeats, act almost like biological fingerprints, varying subtly from person to person while maintaining the same underlying rhythm. Every cell contains this quiet library of sequence and structure, coiled tightly yet unwound with grace when needed, whispering hereditary memory in 4 letters. In this molecular murmuration, we see how even the tiniest building blocks of existence pulse with pattern, cradling the essence of identity and softly turning spirals of life's original language. Fact 64. In the slow circular rituals of planetary orbits, celestial bodies return again and again to paths etched by gravity and time. Each planet in our solar system traces an ellipse around the sun, repeating its journey with astonishing consistency. Earth every 365.225 days, Mars every 687. These orbital patterns govern not only seasons and eclipses, but also tides, calendars, and the deep rhythm of life. Astronomers have charted these loops for millennia, finding resonances between planets, such as the 3.2 relationship between Neptune and Pluto, where for every 3 orbits of Neptune, Pluto completes 2. It is a cosmic harmony shaped by invisible hands, where gravity sings its lullaby across vast distances. To gaze up is to witness repetition made majestic, cycles that cradle day and night, bloom and slumber, a silent choreography kept for eons by stars and stone alike. Fact 65. In the flowing ink of ancient manuscripts, scribes unknowingly echoed statistical laws in their use of words. One such pattern is called Zipf's law, discovered in the 1930s, which observes that in any large body of text, the most common word occurs about twice as often as the second most common, 3 times as often as the third, and so on, a cascading hierarchy of frequency. This pattern repeats across languages, genres, and centuries, from Sanskrit chants to digital tweets. Linguists and data scientists alike see in this curious regularity a glimpse of how human expression naturally gravitates toward balance and economy. Like ripples in thought, the structure of language arranges itself into a silent ladder where meaning rests gently upon repetition, and every message climbs quietly through use and rhythm, one familiar word at a time. Fact 66. Within the weaving currents of the human bloodstream, patterns unfold with resolute precision. Blood flows through arteries and veins in a cycle directed by the rise and fall of pressure from the beating heart. But beyond this rhythmic pulse lies a deeper order. Hemodynamics studies have shown that the branching of vessels follows fractal geometry, optimizing the delivery of oxygen through repeating bifurcations that echo tree limbs or lightning paths. Blood itself, in motion, forms swirling vortices against vessel walls, soft spirals that enhance nutrient distribution and maintain flow stability. Even platelets, tiny guardians of clotting, respond to patterned signals, gathering only where the sequence aligns. In each heartbeat, a choreography unfolds, a spiral roadmap folded within us, where the language of pattern gives rise to vitality, pulsing silently through the corridors of life itself. Fact 67. In the gentle rustle of wind through tree canopies, scientists have discovered an acoustic rhythm that follows the fractal arrangement of branches and leaves. As air flows through layers of foliage, it generates subtle patterns of sound dispersion and vibration, modulated by the size and spacing of the leaves. These natural canopies act as organic filters, softening noise and shaping airflow in complex but repeatable ways. Ecologists studying forest soundscapes have found that these auditory textures change predictably with season, species, and leaf density, forming an oral fingerprint of the woodland's health. In the hush beneath bough and branch, sound itself finds a pathway shaped by growth, a flowing lattice where nature sculpts silence and whisper alike into an ever-changing, ever-familiar song of the woods. Fact 68. In the shadowy corridors of cathedrals and temples, the repetition of arches, vaults, and stained glass motifs echoes the mathematical grace of sacred geometry. Across ages and belief systems, builders have turned to symmetrical designs not only for strength, but for spiritual symbolism. Circles representing eternity, triangles alluding to balance, and the golden ratio guiding proportions from floor to spire. These patterns are not merely decorative. Studies show they influence perception with repeating forms, eliciting feelings of calm, awe, and transcendence. Light streaming through rose windows traces kaleidoscopic rhythms across stone, shifting through the day like a celestial clock. In these quiet sanctuaries, pattern becomes prayer, architecture becomes meditation, and structure whispers softly in rhythm with the breath of reverence and time. Fact 69. The rhythms of handwriting, though often perceived as personal quirks, follow consistent biomechanical patterns that can be measured and analyzed. Graphologists and forensic analysts have discovered that each person's writing contains micro-patterns in pressure, angle, and timing. Predictable loops and pauses that remain stable over time. Even across languages and alphabets, the downstrokes and connections tend to echo universal motor tendencies, shaped by musculature and neural feedback. In recent years, Algorithms have learned to identify individuals based on these subtle inked rhythms, much like a signature written in motion instead of shape. It is in this quiet choreography of pen and paper that intention turns into form. A silent song of self-etched in lines. A portrait composed from practiced twirls, hesitations, and steady flows, whispering identity through curves visible only when slowed to the pace of attention. Fact 70. In nature's seasonal rhythms, the synchronized blooming of plants known as phenology reveals the subtle choreography of life responding to time. Each spring, cherry blossoms in Japan bloom with such consistent timing that their peak dates have been recorded for over 200 years, forming one of the longest-running phenological datasets on Earth. This pattern, shaped by cues in temperature and daylight, acts as a biological calendar followed by bees, birds, and farmers alike. Scientists now study shifts in bloom time to track climate change, revealing how even a small temperature rise can disrupt the shared tempo of ecosystems. In the hush of a warming world, petals become timekeepers, opening in waves across valleys and hills like a pastel metronome, marking the pulse of the planet. The bloom is not just beauty. It is memory, response, and rhythm unfurling beneath the sun's slow arc. Fact 71. The ticking patterns of woodpeckers against tree bark follow not only instinct, but widely observed communicative codes. Ornithologists have documented that different species produce signature drumming sequences, rapid bursts, spaced beats, or double taps, each conveying territory, mating status, or alert. Some species, like the downy woodpecker, generate rhythmic bursts at nearly 20 beats per second, using trees as wooden amplifiers. Unlike vocal birdsong, this percussive language travels well through dense forest and around obstacles, making it a reliable message in layered environments. Researchers have even managed to identify individual birds by their exact tapping rhythms, as unique as a fingerprint struck in bark. In these woodland Morse codes, pattern becomes voice, tree becomes drum, and the quiet of the forest resounds with hidden dialogues carved gently in time and wood. Fact 72. Deep beneath ice-covered lakes in the polar regions, a rare circular formation sometimes appears, nearly perfect spinning disks of ice, gently rotating in the water. These natural marvels, called ice circles, form when cold, slow-moving currents turn a fragment of ice in place, gradually grinding it into a round shape against surrounding slush. Though first documented scientifically in the 19th century, they've existed far longer in folklore, often whispered as omens or fairy rings beneath the winter sun. Physicists have modeled their motion, revealing consistent vortex patterns in the water beneath, governed by angular momentum and fluid properties. Silent and slow, an ice circle can spin for hours, unnoticed, a turning glyph on the surface of frozen stillness. It is a quiet mandala, carved by cold and current, a momentary pattern drawn by nature's invisible hand before melting back into the stream of passing time. Fact 73. In the nested architecture of pine cones, a quiet spiral unfurls that traces the golden ratio with botanical grace. Each woody scale is positioned at a slight offset from the previous one, forming two sets of spiral arms that curve in opposing directions. If counted, these spirals almost always follow neighboring numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, such as 8 and 13, or 13 and 21, a mathematical rhythm embedded deep in the cone's design. This arrangement maximizes space efficiency for seed dispersal and sunlight capture, aligning function with aesthetic. Botanists have found that the same spiraling blueprint appears in sunflower heads and pineapples, revealing a cross-species pattern of organization dictated by growth angles and cellular timing. In the pine cone's hushed geometry, we witness nature's quiet calculus, coiled and enduring, a pattern that endures through season, forest, and time. Fact 74. In the quiet symmetry of cross-sections through fruit, nature reveals radial patterns as elegant as any star chart. When an apple or orange is cut horizontally, its seeds appear arranged in near-perfect circles, following pentagonal or hexagonal forms shaped during growth. Botanists classify this as actinomorphic symmetry, mirror-like balance radiating from the center. This design not only distributes seeds efficiently for dispersal and germination, but also reflects the plant's internal logic of development, shaped by hormone gradients and growth zones. Even the humble kiwi hides a star-like structure within, green or golden flesh encircling the core, like soft rays cast from within. With each slice, these quiet blueprints become visible, offering a window into pattern beneath peel and pulp. A reminder that fruit, sweet and silent, carries unseen mathematics nestled in its core, waiting in stillness to be revealed. Fact 75. The soft spirals of snail shells follow an ancient blueprint known as the logarithmic spiral, a curve that remains self-similar as it grows, expanding outward without changing its shape. This natural design, seen vividly in species like the nautilus or garden snail, is governed by the angle at which the creature's shell grows, incrementally building new housing with each passing moment. Mathematicians have long marveled at how these shells mirror principles of proportionality and balance, with each new chamber curving gently beside the previous one, like verses in a quiet poem of growth. These spirals are not merely aesthetic. They offer protection, balance, and internal stability as the snail moves through soil and leaf. Within the humble coil of a shell, we find nature's soft arithmetic at play, unfolding a continuous pattern, written not in ink or number code, but in calcium and time, spiraling ever outward beneath the weight of morning dew. Fact 76. Hidden among the lines of the human palm is a landscape of folds and creases that form with predictable patterns, yet individual uniqueness. Dermatoglyphics, the study of skin ridges, reveals that while certain general shapes and line directions are common, such as radial, ulnar, or looped arches, no two palms mark time the same way. These patterns begin to form around the 10th week of fetal development, influenced by genetics and subtle shifts in womb conditions. Palm lines have long captured imaginations from chiromancy to neuroscience, but their structure also serves real biological roles, enhancing grip and skin flexibility. In the quiet cradle of a hand, life's paths are pressed into wandering threads, a soft diagram traced with touch and waiting. They are not predictions, but personal cartographies, etched calmly where pattern meets presence. Fact 77. In the layered cross-sections of sedimentary rock, Earth documents eons of its own quiet memory in bands of time compressed into stone. Geologists studying these stratified layers, often called varves, decode ancient climates, volcanic eruptions, and even mass extinctions by analyzing their sequence, composition, and thickness. Some lake beds preserve annual layers for tens of thousands of years, each subtle deposit capturing a season's worth of snowfall rain, or bloom. Like unread pages of an ancestral diary, each stratum holds evidence of rhythm in the planet's breath, a geologic sleep cycle stretching across millennia. In these silent tablets of dust and pressure, the planet writes with quiet discipline, layering one line after another without a sound, offering humanity not just a solid foundation to stand on, but a patient record of change told in whispered tones of sediment and time. Fact 78. In the shifting reflections of river water, patterns ripple between motion and mirror. As currents twist around stones and bends, they sculpt liquid tapestries visible only in passing moments. Interference waves, vortices, and mirrored branches that dance upon the surface. Hydrologists have mapped these fluid repetitions, showing how turbulence organizes itself into recognizable forms, predictable yet ever-changing. Artists and poets alike have long drawn from these fleeting mosaics, sensing wisdom in their gentle randomness. Whether mirrored sky or gliding leaf, the river's patterns move without pause, forever remade yet always familiar. In their shimmering drift, we find the rhythm of impermanence, beauty that forms not by staying still, but by flowing forward with elegant inevitability. And as your thoughts drift like these waters, let their quiet motion carry you inward into that final calm beyond words and patterns, where only stillness remains. Fact 79. In the slow rhythm of tectonic drift, continents glide imperceptibly across Earth's mantle, tracing vast patterns of motion written over tens of millions of years. Plate tectonics, the theory explaining this movement, reveals that continents have not always held their current shapes and positions. Once, all landmasses formed a single vast supercontinent known as Pangaea, around 335 million years ago. Satellite measurements today confirm that some plates shift as little as a few centimeters per year, yet these small, consistent motions carve mountains, open oceans, and trigger gentle tremors or great earthquakes. The lines where plates meet trace patterns deep beneath our feet, invisible yet undeniable. It is a planetary dance so slow it becomes a kind of geological breathing, steady, patient, inevitable, whispering change beneath still forests and sleeping cities. As the ground itself follows this ancient rhythm, we are gently reminded that even land flows with time, part of a quiet choreography unfolding beneath our every step. Fact 80. In the tessellated patterns of ancient mosaics, artists from millennia ago mirrored mathematical precision using only stone and instinct. From the tiled floors of Pompeii to the intricate Islamic mosaics of Moorish Spain, repeating geometric motifs formed not just decoration, but symbolic narratives. Craftspeople arranged squares, triangles, and hexagons into forms that, while decorative, also echoed properties of symmetry, transformation, and infinity, long before formal geometry defined them. Historians now recognize that these age-old patterns often align with principles in group theory and tiling mathematics, embedding deep order within beauty. As sunlight glances across these timeless designs, each fragment catches the glow of human thought, arranged slowly, perfectly, a meditation in color and shape. Even now, to gaze upon one is to stand in the rhythm of centuries, to feel the hush of art and structure merge, one tessera at a time, into lasting harmony. Fact 81. The trailing patterns left by migrating animals pressed into sand, mud, or snow offer transient calligraphy written in movement. Ecologists studying animal tracks have noted that these trails often follow optimized paths. Deer and elk tracing curved routes that minimize steepness, wolves looping back to check scent points in precise intervals, and elephants maintaining age-old migrational highways across vast savannas. These paths are not only instinctual, but remembered, passed silently between generations as lines across the landscape. When viewed from above, satellite images sometimes reveal networks of trails invisible from ground level, looping, intertwining, and converging like the silent circulatory system of ecosystems. Each hoofprint and paw mark narrates a story of survival and navigation, echoing the rhythm of need, season, and return. As they cross open plains or frozen fields, animals write their belonging into terrain with gentle repetition, inscribing memory into soil one step at a time. Fact 82. Within the shifting cloudbursts of volcanoes, ash settles in distinct layers that carry the rhythm of past eruptions. Volcanologists examine these tiers, called tephra deposits, to trace eruption timelines, plume compositions, and even climatic impacts, reaching across hemispheres. Some eruptions, like Mount Tambora in 1815, left patterns found as far as Greenland, their fine particles recording a moment of global dimming. Each successive layer of ash marks a pulse in the Earth's volatile breath, pressed into lake beds, ice cores, and crater rim soils. Stratified and silent, these records speak of fire and stillness, upheaval and remembering. To examine a core of volcanic ash is to read a timeline of sudden change, written not in symbols, but in fine dust and delicate contrast. An echo of eruption preserved in pale, patient strata beneath modern feet. Fact 83. The migration of monarch butterflies, stretching nearly 3,000 miles from North America to central Mexico, follows a precise multi-generational pattern etched into time and instinct. Though no single butterfly completes the entire journey, each generation continues the route with uncanny accuracy. Guided by cues in sunlight, magnetic fields, and inherited memory. Researchers have found that their flight paths form consistent aerial highways, their orientation linked to the angle of the sun, filtered through specialized proteins in their eyes. Along the way, rest stops bloom with milkweed, the only plant their caterpillars can feed on, growing in synchronicity with the journey itself. This fragile relay across thousands of wings becomes a soft tapestry of motion, direction born of rhythm, and arrival shaped by invisible maps. In the rustle of migrating orange and black, we witness one of nature's most delicate yet enduring patterns. Idaron. Endurance and guidance fluttering south on the breath of November winds. Fact 84. In the rhythmic ticking of the brain's internal clocks, chronobiologists have uncovered ultradian rhythms, shorter cycles of alertness, mood, and energy occurring throughout the day. Unlike the circadian rhythm, which spans roughly 24 hours, ultradian rhythms repeat every 90 to 120 minutes, shaping waves of mental clarity followed by dips in focus. These internal pulses guide creativity, attention, and rest, influencing the quiet ebb and flow of thought like tides within the self. Studies show that aligning with these cycles by gently resting during troughs enhances well-being and productivity. In this hidden cadence, our bodies and minds move in concert with a silent tempo, each rise and fall a metered breath within the song of daily life. As sleep draws nearer, perhaps now, this soft rhythm leads you inward, down one final spiral of thought, turning gently toward silence. Let pattern become stillness. Let the night hold you. Fact 85. In the crystalline hush of frost patterns on window panes, winter breathes mathematics into glass. As warm indoor air meets cold surfaces, water vapor condenses and freezes along micro-imperfections, forming dendritic designs, branching structures that echo veins, lightning, and coral. These frost ferns grow according to temperature, humidity, and the tiniest variations on the glass, resulting in intricate natural etchings that seem drawn by invisible hands. Physicists have studied their formation as examples of diffusion-limited aggregation, where each new ice molecule joins in response to the path already carved, amplifying the artistry of change. In their fleeting presence, these delicate patterns recite a cold poetry, repeating shapes that vanish with the dawn. And as your room grows quiet and the night settles into stillness, let these frost-born constellations soften your thoughts, soothing you with the silent rhythm of frozen breath on glass. Sleep now, where patterns become dreams, and dreams dissolve into rest. Fact 86. In the ancient fibers of woven baskets made by indigenous cultures across the globe, symmetrical patterns arise from generations of repetition, memory, and handcraft. Archaeologists have uncovered basket fragments over 9,000 years old, their dyed reeds and grasses coiled in spirals, zigzags, and chevrons that mirror both utility and storytelling. These motifs often encode meanings, water paths, sky deities, or clan identities, their structure passed from maker to apprentice like a tactile language. Mathematicians today study these woven geometries to understand topology and surface tessellation, finding universal forms hidden within local traditions. In each looped strand lies the echo of fingers working slowly, quietly, binding form to meaning, craft to cosmos. The basket becomes not just a vessel, but a pattern in motion, a cradle of purpose, held and handed forward by the rhythm of hands and time. And with that final spiral, let the thread of this journey rest. Good night, pattern seeker. May your dreams ripple with wonder. Fact 87. In the gentle logic of knitting, loops of yarn transform into fabric through repeated gestures, forming endless permutations of pattern and texture. Each stitch links to those before it, creating a sequence of interconnected knots that build row by row into scarves, sweaters, and blankets. The simplest forms, like the garter or stockinette stitch, reflect binary rhythms of knit and purl, a soft code written in thread. Historically, complex motifs like cables or lattices were used not only for warmth, but to convey regional identity or personal story. Textile historians have traced Celtic braids and Scandinavian snowflake patterns across generations, each passed forward like a song sung by hand. In the quiet clack of needles or the hush of looping wool, there lies a meditation on form, care, and continuity, a tactile music of repetition turning time into warmth. And so we end, cradled by pattern, wrapped in the calm of memory, traced in thread. Let sleep gather gently now, as the final stitch is cast and the journey softly concludes. Fact 88. In the symmetrical folds of ferns pressed into ancient rock, Fossilized patterns preserve echoes of life from hundreds of millions of years ago. Known as leaf impressions, these delicate records of prehistoric plants reveal finely veined fronds and branching structures that mirror species still living today. Paleobotanists carefully analyze these fossils, noting the graceful repetition and symmetry as clues to lineage, climate, and evolution. Some of these imprints are so detailed that individual cell boundaries and spore structures remain visible beneath microscopic lenses. They offer a quiet continuity, a lineage of form unbroken from the Carboniferous forests to the moist understory of today's woods. Pressed into stone by time and weight, each fern imprint whispers of an earth long past, yet still flowing with patterns that persist through root, leaf, and memory. As your breath settles and thoughts fade, let this final fossil unfurl slowly in your imagination, a soft echo of life written in stone and sleep. Fact 89. In the spiral mounds of termite nests, architecture rises from instinct, shaped by the rhythmic labor of thousands of tiny builders. These earthen towers, constructed grain by grain, balance temperature, airflow, and humidity through a passive system of vents and chambers. A living climate control engineered without blueprints. Researchers have found that termites follow local cues and pheromone gradients, leading to emergent patterns that mirror algorithms in computer modeling. In some African savannas, termite mounds form vast grids visible from satellites, spaced with mathematical precision, as if plotted by a patient compass. Inside each mound, tunnels echo the spirals of shells and lungs, weaving breath and shelter into sculpted silence. What seems chaotic from afar reveals order upon closer gaze, a home grown from rhythm, a fortress formed from shared timing. And so, nature whispers once more, crafting the invisible through repetition, raising quiet cathedrals from dust and touch, even as the world sleeps on. Fact 90. In the patient brushstrokes of coral reefs, marine biologists have discovered growth patterns that mimic spiral galaxies and fractal branching. Coral polyps multiply through a process called budding, expanding outward in logarithmic swirls that maximize access to light and nutrients. Their calcium skeletons thicken over centuries, layering in bands that can reveal the age of each colony, much like rings inside a tree. Some reefs, like Australia's Great Barrier Reef, stretch over 2,300 kilometers, shaping living maps visible from space, colorful topographies formed from individual organisms working in unison. These reefs pulse with daily and seasonal rhythms, blooming with plankton at night, retreating into stillness by day. And in this final underwater mural, where life dreams in color and symmetry, our journey through pattern returns quietly to origin, repetition as survival, structure as grace, and beauty as the rippling echo of time. Rest now, with the sea around you and silence within, held gently by the quiet artistry of the world's slowest architects. Fact 91. In the woven orbits of comets, icy travelers from the outer solar system sketch long ellipses through space, following ancient, repeating paths shaped by gravitational resonance. Some, like Halley's Comet, return every 76 years, a slow heartbeat in the sky that has dazzled civilizations since Babylonian times. As they approach the sun, their frozen cores sublimate, shedding glowing tails of gas and dust that point away from the solar wind. These luminous trails can stretch millions of kilometers, dissolving into meteor showers as debris intersects Earth's orbit. Astronomers plot these curves with quiet precision, mapping loops that may take centuries to complete, but never stray far from their celestial blueprint. In these frozen sears, we read the rhythm of time in motion, messages carved in icy breath, returning like celestial lullabies with each graceful arc through the darkness. Let that returning light guide you now, curling softly across the sky's deep canvas, toward the quiet of dreams, just beginning. Fact 92. In the pulsing rings of Saturn, celestial symmetry hovers like a whisper in space. These rings, composed of ice and rock fragments ranging from grains of dust to house-sized boulders, orbit the gas giant in finely divided concentric bands. Scientists believe most of the rings are less than 100 meters thick, but span over 280,000 kilometers in width, a thin, ethereal veil drawn wide across the heavens. The rings' spacing and division follow resonance patterns shaped by Saturn's moons, forming gaps like the Cassini division, where gravitational rhythms carve lanes through the swirling debris. Viewed through a telescope, they appear serene and flawless, but up close, they reveal the physics of chaos shaped into grace. As the light of distant suns glances off their icy curves, we are offered one last glimpse into the geometry of wonder. Let this final orbit encircle your thoughts with stillness, where motion becomes music, and the stars cradle you gently into sleep. Fact 93. In the radiating spokes of sunflower florets, mathematics and sunlight conspire in golden alignment. Each seed aligns itself to face the sun, forming spirals that unfold in two opposing arcs, often totaling successive Fibonacci numbers like 34 and 55, or 55 and 89. This arrangement, known as phylotactic patterning, maximizes packing density while allowing every seed equal access to light. Botanists have long marveled at how such optimal configurations arise without calculation, guided instead by hormonal gradients and growth frontiers from the plant's center. The sunflower casts its face skyward, not just in beauty, but as a living equation unfurling warmly with the dawn. And here, beneath those endless spirals drawn in yellow and shadow, we close our journey in the echo of sun and sequence, of breath and rhythm. Sleep now, where the universe remembers you in patterns etched softly into seed and stem, held still within the hush of bloom